Hello and welcome to an update. I'm recording this a second time because I was unsatisfied with a 15-minute long video that I did before in an attempt to make like an update video because God damn it, I hate whenever I just like, what am I going to say here? My mind, your thoughts and talking same time, it's just like blur 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 blur, so I end up rambling and just kind of saying the same shit over and over again, which led to 15 minutes, so I'm redoing it essentially. And the reason we've got Dark Couple 2 music up here is because I want something to play in the background with, you know, just to kind of add some atmosphere. Bird, don't distract me. I'm trying to put my thinking cap on, but it always falls off the second I open my mouth. So, Dark Couple 2 LP completed. That means what'll be next, essentially. And like I've mentioned, like multiple times, Katawa Shoujo or Higurashi, but at the same time, I'm still kind of hesitant with either of the two. Both of them would require me voice acting every character, because it doesn't have voice acting. And I'm honestly kind of tired, drained, I don't know what word to use, but you know the whole scenario that we've seen with like Shuffle, Dark Capo, this Clannad, Canon. They all follow a similar kind of pattern. It's like, okay, you're the protagonist. Okay, which girl are you gonna end up with in this route? That route, that route, that route. So essentially, like, that's kind of where Higurashi kind of rears its kind of morbid head of just like horrifying whatever. Because Higurashi is totally different. She doesn't follow those patterns at all. It's just like, oh, it's all nice and slice life and all that, and then suddenly, holy fucking shit, things just got fucked up. It doesn't have routes. It's just like you got the question arcs and then the answer arcs. It's like, it doesn't even have choices. It's more of a sound novel than a visual novel. But the flaw in all that, aside from it being pretty damn disturbing at times, is that it's like, compare the two, Katawa Shoujo, freeware, no problems there. Higurashi, you have to buy that, and that's where it comes in, where it's like, match third-party content, possibly, copyrights, where it's like, you know what, we're feeling particularly mean today. Copyrighted! Or something, I don't know. That's essentially my main reluctance with that one, ever since back in the days with that one incident. Long-time viewers might be familiar with something that happened during the Clannad LP that was probably less connected to the novel itself and more connected to what I mentioned in that. The series that shall not be named. It's funny, really, because there's like ages ago thought of LPing that one, and it's still potential, but ever since that moment, it's be like, thank you, and all that, you know. So, speaking of Clannad, though, hopefully not well, it's been pretty much official kind of thing, but it's got an official translation on Steam, so that's neat. I think I'll probably buy it myself at some point. Kind of revisit the plot, not like LP or anything, whatever, you know, but just play through it on my own kind of thing. Like, take in the feels once again, only with an official translation, so it'd probably be slightly different. And, what else? Well, Fuku's route, if you remember from my LP, like, for some reason the music just kind of stops partway through a route, which is why at that point I had to, like, step in as the soundtrack guy, or whatever you'd call it, you know? Because it's just like, okay, I'll manually insert the soundtrack, so it'd be like, a scene be playing, it'd be like, which track would suit the scene? So I had to, like, choose music that I thought would fit the scene from the soundtrack itself, because it wasn't there. I had to kind of just, like, take over for that, you know? So it'd be interesting to see what music they actually used in those scenes. Although my guess is my choices probably weren't that far off from what it actually was, but you get the idea, so that's on Steam. And also Go Nippon's got a sequel on Manga Gamer as well, so might check that out, could be a potential LP as well. And what else? That's the thing, man. I can't really think of many visual novels, really. So that's where you viewers come into this whole thing, just like suggestions for, potential next LP visual novel. Kind of like if I were to prefer anything, it'd be fairly length, like not like so incredibly brief. Although it doesn't really matter. It could be like a transition before going on to the next long one. Doesn't really matter. But it has to have like a decent plot, and I don't know. It's like the Katawa Shoujo thing, just like freeware kind of stuff. Not gonna get like match third-party content on this music or that kind of thing. Less chance of that happening kind of stuff, and preferably also while not being kind of the standard kind of, okay, you go for this route, get the girl, go for that route, get the girl, go for that route, because we're doing that, seeing so much of that with like visual novels, that it's just like, we gotta get a breather in here, man, something different, spice it up here, Well, Emit technically was pretty different, wasn't it? But that was actually, I think that was actually made for, well, the Japanese to learn English, I think it was. Just like, okay, here's a sound novel or something on the Super Nintendo of all things. And that's why it was in English, essentially. Moonlight Walks technically was a bit different as well. Yandere-chan was definitely different. But those were all kind of transition ones, just like slowly kind of build up until it got to the Shuffle LP. Which it was originally going to be like, slowly build up, Higurashi, but it ended up being Shuffle, and after that, Dark Upper 2, and after Dark Upper 2, where should we go, is the question. So, that's up to you viewers, because I can't really decide, I'm really fussy with it, I just like, Katawa Shoujo, or Higurashi, or maybe something else, oh god damn it, I can't decide! Son of a bitch, why must I be so picky? Seriously. Music? So, yeah, there's not really much else to say other than that, really. It's just like, I have no idea what to LP next. I really don't. I just can't form the idea in my head. Like, my main channel is like, I've been thinking recently, the Project Diva, get those two mixed up. They're completely different games, for crying out loud. They just have Project in this title. Could you imagine that? Vocaloid version of the Project Zero Fail Frame series? That'd be ridiculous. But yeah, since our LP is like, I've just got the After LP talk, that's all I've got left to do for that one. I'm not actually returning to uploading on those ones yet until I actually get that done, That's kind of why I'm still holding off the main channel uploads. For those of you viewers who pay attention to both channels, that's the reason currently. And like for that channel, I've already got some ideas for LPs. It's just like, well, Shadows and Memories I mentioned in that LP. I was like, yeah, I could potentially LP that after that one, or could be... actually, I'm not entirely sure, actually, because some of the games I have in mind are just like... seem like they'd be more suited for, like, when I finally complete the Model 3 LPs, like, well, maybe we could do Final Fantasy X, maybe we could do Wind Waker, or we could, I'm thinking of doing The Sims Busting Out when I get that game for Christmas this year. Because, it'll be totally different from The Sims 2 LP, that's for sure, because it actually has something resembling a plot, well, there is a goal to it other than just do random shit and eventually conclude the LP kind of thing, you know? So there's that. But on this channel, I'm like, I haven't got a clue. I've been going on about Higurashi since as far back as Clannad, and I just still kind of like, You know, it's only somewhat recently that I think they've got like new releases on it on the site, but I think they're more spin-off ones. I'm not entirely sure. But they've also updated the would you even call it graphics, really? You know, the images of the character portraits have been updated because, well, let's just say the original kind of art just kind of looked a bit distracting. You got all this kind of crazy shit going on at times, and then it looks like it's like the equivalent of a visual novel Final Fantasy VII, in that it's totally nothing like Final Fantasy VII, but it has that blocky kind of look to it. Just like the story's good, but the characters kind of just look really awkward. So like the upgrade in that just kind of makes it more appealing looking, you know? Not so distracting, it actually fits well. But yeah, so those are the only two that I have in mind, along with maybe the sequel to Go-Go Nippon. That reminds me, I've like recently was watching the which track should play here? I don't even know. But I recently rewatched the trailer for this channel that I did back when I made this channel. And it's just like the same scenario. It's like, hello, regular dolphin, welcome to this channel, and rambling and making no sense whatsoever. And then evil blackboard comes in and is just like,
get on with it. Just fucking show him some clips and be done with it, for fuck's sake.
And some of the clips that are shown, like from Canon, Clannad, and Go Nippon. So when I eventually maybe actually LP the sequel to that, I'd be like, we finally get to go to Shibuya! Because I remember just like a reoccurring thing in that one, wasn't it? It's like, we didn't get to go, man! But it's like, I think the title hasn't even really changed from Go-Go Nippon, my first trip to Japan, which, if it's a sequel, shouldn't it be my second trip to Japan? I don't know. I didn't really have much of a look at it yet, but I suppose those three could be potentially. But any other suggestions? Suppose? Just like, but also like I don't really tend to like, I prefer like ones that are like either freeware kind of thing or actually got an official release rather than having to kind of like search through the bowels of the internet searching for an English translation kind of thing, you know, just like, okay, so we got that. Now we're gonna patch it, patch, and crap, this is really complicated. Well, it's not usually, but you get the idea. Just something a bit more straightforward when it comes to actually getting it. It's just like, okay, freeware one, like Katawa Shoujo or something like that. Or one that I could just like purchase, like Higurashi from Manga Gamer's website, you know? Just something straightforward like that, but with a good plot and reasonable length as well. But it doesn't really matter if it's like the same traditional thing, just like, okay, so you got routes, you get the girl, you get the girl, you get this girl, whatever and all that. Doesn't matter if it's that or if it's like Higurashi or kind of like Yandere-chan, actually, in a way, kind of thing, you know, where it's just like, I will get you, or whatever, you know, just like, where it's not really all about relationships kind of being the main focus and overall goal for each route, but instead of just being completely different or whatever. I'm rambling. But yeah, up to you and all that, because I'm crap at deciding. That's all. Peace out.